Greetings from St. Francis in Phelan, California. Today is Saturday, January 11th. And I wanted to take a brief moment to address everyone and talk about the fires that are happening here in Los Angeles area. I'm located about 80 miles east of Los Angeles, so we are not in any danger. But in Southern California, every place is a high fire zone. So in California, we're used to fires. This particular fire, however, has been extremely destructive, partly because of the location that it occurred, coupled with extremely high winds. In January, we normally do not have a fire issue. The wintertime is our rain season in Southern California, but we have not had any substantial rain since last May, I believe it is. So we're talking more than 6 months of no rain. Last year, we had an enormous amount of rain, which resulted in mudslides and flooding. Because of that rain, a lot of vegetation began to grow. Southern California is what we call chaparral. It's a special type of vegetation, especially at the coastal areas. It's scrub brushes, bushes, and so forth. But what has been adding fuel to the fire is that as people have developed the land, they are planting non-native plants, things like Italian cypresses and palm trees. Southern California is known for its palm trees. The thing is, palm trees are not native to California. The palm trees that we tend to grow out here are like weeds. They're loaded with palm oil. So when there's a fire, the fire quickly goes up the trunk of the tree. It ignites the crown of the palm tree. Then add to that 9-mile-an-hour winds that we've had in the Los Angeles basin, and embers will fly miles and then ignite whatever they land on. So this has been a particularly destructive fire. To give you an idea, the greater Los Angeles area, Los Angeles itself, is about 65 to 70 miles long. Los Angeles and the greater Los Angeles area is one of the largest metropolises in the United States. California alone has millions of people. We are the most populous state. And then the Los Angeles basin contains a great portion of that population. So it's a very overdeveloped area. Everybody wants to live there. It's a beautiful area. And people have settled into the canyon regions. And Pacific Palisades, the first town to be completely wiped off the map, is surrounded by canyons. And that has exacerbated the problem, because once those fires get into the canyons, it's nearly impossible to fight them, especially when there's high winds. There's a lot of misinformation going around. And those of us who are people of faith, and actually anybody, we have a responsibility to make sure that the information we are giving out is accurate. We cannot rely on Facebook or any social media platform to fact check for us. That's our responsibility. I have made several posts about the fire, and I make sure that the information I'm posting is accurate. Please, if you are going to comment on the fire, stick with the facts. During this natural disaster, your opinion honestly is not. This is our home in California. This is affecting everybody who lives in Southern California, whether we're in the fire zone or live outside of it, such as I do. But this is going to have long-range results for all of us, from cost of living to the state economy to even our ability to purchase fire insurance, which is getting more and more difficult as the years go by. So I would ask my followers, keep your opinions to yourself. They don't help at all during this time, especially for our friends and family who live in the fire area. My own tech advisor, Richard, his family that lives in the Los Angeles area had to leave the area. I have personal friends and colleagues who have had to either evacuate or have been on evacuation notice. So this is an extremely stressful time for Southern Californians. So if you find that we get a little short-tempered with you, there's a reason. And right now, what we do need is responsible reporting. We need to stick with the facts. FEMA will be releasing information. Governor Newsom, no matter what a person may think of him, he has been interviewed. He is the governor, whether people like it or not, and he's giving accurate information. We've had the California fire marshal be interviewed. He has given accurate information. Local authorities have been interviewed. These are the people we need to be listening to because they're the ones with boots on the ground who are responding to this fire. We, as a people of faith, what can we do? Number one, obviously pray. Every night when I go to bed and I say my evening prayers, I am praying for those who've lost homes. I pray for those who have lost loved ones. Currently, we have 11 confirmed deaths as a result of this fire. I pray for our first responders who are putting their lives in the line of danger to help save property and lives. I pray for our leadership that they will be able to respond the best way possible. And then I pray that our state, when it comes time to rebuild, that we will upgrade our infrastructure and rebuild in such a way that we can be better prepared for such disasters as this. A lot of people saying that the governor should have done more, the state should have done more. There is nothing more that could have been done to prevent this. We do not control drought. We cannot control water flow. Contrary to what some federal people are saying, federal leaders are saying, we cannot control our flow of water. And the California fire marshal has already said it's not a water issue. It was the enormous size of this fire. And the very fact that the region that has been burned out so far is larger than many metropolitan cities in America. Think about that. The area that has been destroyed by fire is larger than many metropolitan cities. It's as if a whole city has been wiped out. That's how big Los Angeles is. And these fires continue to spread. I would warn that if you want to give to some sort of relief aid, be very careful who you give your money to. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of scammers out there. Stick with relief agencies that you know are been vetted, such as Salvation Army, the Red Cross, and any other state-sanctioned relief agencies. Be very careful about those who are setting up accounts on social media, because there's no way of knowing if that money is truly going to go help people. So stick with the big name agencies. If you have family living in the LA area and that, get in touch with them. And if you live in the area of where these fires are, practice safety. Trying to save your home with a water hose is only going to put your life in danger. And it's going to lower the water pressure that the fire people need in order to run the hydrants. And that's what happened in Pacific Palisades. There's been some speculation as to why the fire hydrants ran dry. The fact is, it's not that they ran dry, it's just that there was so much water being pulled out at one time, it lowered the pressure. Part of the problem was people with their own hoses and their property wetting things down. And then on top of that, it's the fire people hooking up to every hydrant that there is and turning them all on full blast. So the pressure dropped. As the fire marshal for California said, that nothing could have stopped this fire. once it started. It was that big. But we do need prayer. We need prayer for wisdom so that when we do rebuild, because we will rebuild, we will do it in such a way that in the future, a fire like this won't be able to get out of hand so easily. So I ask that you pray for my state. This is my home, and it's the home of many of my friends. And this is a very personal thing to us. Again, keep the opinions to yourself. Right now, we don't need those. Imagine your home is burning down and someone comes up and starts giving your opinion. You're probably going to turn around and want to slap them. That's how we feel as a state right now. Our home is on fire. We don't need opinions at this point. There will be official investigations. Governor Newsom has already said that they are going to investigate. We always do that after a major disaster. So we want to find out, what could we have done better? What did we do well? Where did we fall behind? What do we need to do when we rebuild? These things will take time. It's going to take professionals, people who are trained in this area, in urban development. So keep us in your prayers. And I want to close with this idea. In mythology, the phoenix rises out of the ashes. We too, in California, will rise out of these ashes like the phoenix. We will rebuild. This isn't the first time in California that we've had major fires. In the early 1900s, San Francisco, much of it was burned down. We rebuilt. We have had major fires throughout California the last few years due to climate change. We rebuild. And we rebuild smarter. Each time we face a disaster and we rebuild, we do it better, we do it smarter. So I'm confident that even while right now the damage seems beyond belief, and it's really easy to lose hope, especially for those who've lost their homes. And it's not only rich people who lost their homes, it's just everyday people as well. It is truly an overwhelming feeling. And I cannot begin to even imagine what it's like to lose one's home to a fire, let alone to lose your whole town, such as Pacific Palisades. So we all need to practice a little bit of empathy, especially when we're commenting on social media. We all need to take a deep breath and speak words of encouragement to one another. I also want to say this is not a punishment from God. I've seen many people on social media say God is mad. God is punishing California. That is nonsense. The fact remains, California as a whole has always had an issue with fire. It's our environment. Conversely, the Gulf Coast states, which is where the Bible Belt is located, always deals with hurricanes. Texas, which is a very religious state, deals with fires and tornadoes. The Midwest, which tends to be more conservative and religious, they deal with tornadoes. There's hardly anywhere you can go in the United States that we're not dealing with some sort of natural disaster. It comes with living in this country. So let's stop using God's name in vain and saying God's punishing us. That's silly. That's ridiculous. Because the fact remains, a lot of people who lost their homes also lost their churches. St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Altadena was burned down. That is an old historical church that has been doing a great work for the Lord in Altadena. I've been to that church. It no longer exists. The school that it had is no longer there. So churches, synagogues, masjids, and temples have been destroyed. God is not punishing us. If anything, part of the issue is it's how we build. And we will learn from this. So we can ask God for wisdom when we rebuild. But let's stop saying that God is punishing us. You keep saying stuff like that, eventually a natural disaster is going to hit your home. And then what are you going to say? Thank you for your time. Again, in California, we ask for your prayers. And if you can donate, please donate to reputable organizations such as the Red Cross, Salvation Army, and other organizations that are registered so that you'll know where your money is going. Monitor what you say on social media. Only speak the truth. We don't need opinions at this point. And know this, in California, we have a very strong spirit. We will rise from the ashes. There is hope in our faith in God. And disasters like this present to us new opportunities. So it's up to us to push forward to say, we will turn these ashes back into gardens once again. With God, all things are possible. I pray that the Lord will bless you. And remember, tomorrow, St. Francis, we will be live streaming at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time from here in Phoenix, California. We live stream now onto Facebook and YouTube. Please join us for Mass tomorrow. And if you missed the live stream, our services are permanently saved so that you can watch them at your convenience. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and be safe.